What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Vermont Scale Customs. So this is full speed, regular speed, I guess, of the Diecast FJ. If you caught the last segment, most of that was in slow motion, probably about 25%, I guess, somewhere in there. Just wanted to show what this thing kind of, runs like in real life and what it sounds like and what you can kind of half expect if this is something you decide to get into doing. It's not terrible. This is, and never was intended to be any kind of, super high performance competition build or anything along those lines. This was merely getting a really heavy diecast body onto the 24 scale platform just because it's that mountain that you climb because it's there. So I put it in a couple spots like this because I also wanted to see just, what it was going to do, and clearly it's not rolling over. It's got a fair amount of articulation. It can handle, getting in and out of, some pretty weird spots. It's just a matter of, I guess, how you drive it. It's not perfect. It's certainly got plenty of body roll and, it's got a big back end and it sits into it quite a bit. And you'll see it in a few spots, but, yeah, it's just a fun rig. And like I said, even in the last video, it was more of a challenge to see what was possible. I've been looking at this thing for a long time at Walmart, and I finally bought one. This is in slow-mo. This is like at about 50%. And, yeah, it does a couple things really well. And also, too, I just kind of like, just to note, that, like, look at the way that the links and everything all tucked up underneath, and, like, the rock sliders all kind of make a pretty decent line. It's got great approach angle. It's got a pretty decent descent angle. It's got good, central clearance right at the diff, or right at the skid, excuse me. And with the high clearance links on there, it doesn't really make too much of a difference with this. I'm not really doing any breakover stuff, but it certainly cleans things up under there, gets them up out of the way. You don't really see them that well. But if you don't point it exactly at the line that it needs to be pointed at, it makes it tough. And it's not very forgiving at all. Here's another example of that. Just kind of started a little bit too far over and kind of steered off a little too much, where I'm trying to overcompensate for it now, and I'm a little too far in. So I back up, and you can see that overdrive, like 38%, really just wreaks havoc on that back end when you're backing up at all. I might have to kind of detune that a little bit with the front diff. This little gap right here is, I'm perfectly fine with an almost 2 pound. I think it's 1 pound 9.7 ounces to remind you guys this thing weighs. But not a bad little line with an FJX24 running an 050 motor, brushed, mind you. Which I will say that after this little session, I just turned this thing on. I think it was last night or maybe this morning. I can't recall. But anyway, I discovered that this might have been one of my older brushed motors from way long ago. Here's another segment that's been slowed down. Anyway, discovered that this motor that's in here right now is actually no longer with us. It has gone the way of other dead motors. And so what I did was I put a Holmes Hobbies 050, the 44 turn, which actually stands as my now oldest brush motor that I still have in service. It seems that they're all slowly dying as time goes on. They've all pretty much been replaced by brushed motors at this point in a lot of my 24 scale rigs. So it would stand to reason that a lot of the brushless or the brushed motors have finally kind of, reached their life expectancy and their abuse levels. I'm pretty sure that motor got really hot running this thing, it's probably close to 90 degrees out, a little bit of wind, but, moving a vehicle that heavy and this kind of stuff with the wheels binding a little bit on the front, with kind of pinching in on the wheel wells there a little bit every once in a while. A note on this, kind of a sad line. I was really hoping to be able to bang a hard left turn and stay on the top of that and kind of steer my way in. I steered through it instead, got hung up. Thought I could make it. Thought I was going to be able to pull myself up onto that other rock, but I got reversed and got bound. Was able to pull through it a little bit, but got the rear axle stuck, so I'm pinched now at this point, so gave up. This is the last segment, about 2 minutes long or so. I really slowed this one down so you can kind of see exactly what this thing's doing, starting with the overdrive on the front moving way before the back axle did. It's pretty funny. It's how noticeable it is on this truck. Yeah. This is a little yard gap to the north side of the house, and I kind of like to bring I don't know. I think the last time I did this was with the Tacoma diecast. This seems to be like the thing that I like to take the diecasts through just to see how it does it, just to see if it'll do it at all. It really puts a lot of pressure on the tires, just pinched in between the gaps, so it's a good way to check and see, you know, just how the thing actually really does, you know, want to perform. It's a good little test. I stalled this motor out coming up here too, and I think this stall is kind of what actually was one of the last things that might have been about all I can take. You can hear it? Totally cut out. Yeah. This is in the process of killing this motor right here. It finishes this clip, and I think I recorded a couple more, but this is the last one of the video. So if you're still here listening to me ramble on about this thing, thanks much. If you've actually gone to Walmart and picked one up, good luck. I'm sure it'll work out just fine if you follow along with what I was saying about the Kicks rock sliders. There's a couple different ways you can do it now that I've seen that there's a couple other rock sliders out there that are like the ones that I use, so I think you'll have a really good chance of getting that set up if you want to do one. So anyway, thanks for all the comments on the last one. That's about it. Gonna zip on out of here in a second, so take it easy out there. Have fun running some trucks. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.